It's Bridget here from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, the home of healthy, delicious. Hoping you are well, hoping you are safe wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining me tonight. It is the evening here in Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, and you may notice a bit of a change of view. If you didn't realize, you're like, hang on, I've got a new angle. Yes, I've decided to give you guys a new look into the kitchen. So bit of a tour. This is the fridge. This is the oven. Pretty good oven, actually. Pretty happy with it. We got a microwave up there. You've seen the cooktop before on that side, but yep, this is kind of my kitchen, and we're going to be shooting a lot of our content looking down the barrel this way coming up, which is very cool because what it means is you get a better quality picture, which I'm hoping that you're seeing a better quality picture already, but you also get a better quality sound, and eventually we're even going to have different cameras happening, which is super exciting. So thank you for joining me tonight on this episode of what is the healthiest breakfast or break fast, I like to say, because it's about breaking your fast. So the first thing you eat where after you've slept and you've gone about your morning, the very first thing that you eat, what is the healthiest thing that you can have for your breakfast? And the reason we're doing breakfast, because we are celebrating this book here, Eat Your Way Slim and Healthy, goes live globally tomorrow, which is Tuesday the 4th of August. And hello to Jennifer joining us from the UK. Yes, guess what else I can see? I can see comments. How exciting is that? So hi to Jennifer joining us from the UK. We've also got Laurel as well joining us in from Auckland. Christine, hi Christine from Melbourne. Good to see you guys on tonight's stream. Yes, this book officially gets launched tomorrow. So if you've pre-ordered your copy, they will start to leave either Booktopia or Amazon.com.uk. Wherever you pre-purchase your book from, they start to leave the depot tomorrow. So super excited, and we're celebrating the launch of Bridget's Healthy Kitchen's Eat Your Way Slim and Healthy cookbook all week here in Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. We're going to start with breakfast because what other way is there to start? And I'm literally going to cook my way through this amazing cookbook. So I'm starting with breakfast, and the reason why I wanted to start with breakfast, or as I was saying, it's break fast. It's not necessarily you're having it at breakfast time. Maybe you have it at 10 o'clock in the morning. Maybe you're like me and you start having your first meal of the day at around about lunchtime. Whatever time it is that you decide, that's the time you're going to break your fast. What's the healthiest thing to break your fast with? And what you will notice, if you've never seen Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, the original bestseller cookbook, one thing that you would have missed out on is my breakfast section is unlike probably any other breakfast section of a cookbook. And I like to start the day, or when you break your fast, with good quality protein. So something that's going to keep you full. I mean, the whole idea about going to start your day with cereal, forget about it, or a couple pieces of toast, that's not going to keep you full. In fact, what that's going to do is going to spike your insulin, going to spike your blood glucose, and you're going to go on a bit of a sugar high, especially if it's toast, especially if it's something like a cereal. You're going to go on that sugar high, and then you're going to come crashing down. So you're going to want to keep on putting food into your body to get you back up to that high. So the recipes that we have here in the book are nothing like that. They sustain your energy levels, they fill you up, they make you feel satisfied. I know for a lot of people, they're like, really? You want me to have chicken for breakfast? I want you to have chicken for breakfast. We've got to start making these amazing changes, and this is what this book's doing. There's quite a few different recipes for breakfast in here, obviously. Things that, like I said, you probably never even thought of having. For example, my sticky tofu salad is in there. You're like, really? Salad for breakfast? Salad for breakfast. Prawn dumplings, almost like a yum cha style dumplings in there as well. Prawn skewers are in there. What we're actually going to be cooking today is on page 58 of the new book, and we're going to be doing some chicken breakfast patties. But I'm also going to teach you guys how to take the same type of patty mixture and turn it into fabulous Scotch eggs. So there's lots of options for you in the book, and it really is about thinking outside the square a little bit, and doing something that we maybe didn't necessarily used to do before. But change is hard, change takes time, but change is necessary if we want to see changes in our body. And the recipes in here for breakfast are going to start to help you along that journey and get you used to starting your day with something really healthy, really good for your body, and really filling as well. So as I was saying, we're doing chicken breakfast patties today. Kind of the first time you probably think about having chicken for breakfast, you're like, not sure if I want to do that. Trust me, try it. You've got to give it a go. You know, that's where change starts, is by accepting that we need to do something a little bit different. So come on down to my bench. Let's get into the recipe. I'm pretty excited to share this with you guys. It was almost like my first start in thinking, oh, you mean I'm not going to have toast or cereal for breakfast anymore? No, I have not had toast or cereal for breakfast in like nearly 3 years, literally. All right, so come on down to my bench. I'm going to show you guys what I've got in front of me. And of course, we're going to start chicken breakfast patties. We need to start with some good quality lean protein. And the lean protein that I'm using today is chicken breast. So I think in the recipe, it calls for about 1 kilo of chicken breast. It's going to make you quite a few different patties. And what you want to do with your chicken is you just want to cut it up into pieces. Now, depending on how you buy your chicken, if it's got skin, you can remove the skin. If there's a lot of fat around the edges, I would also suggest that you trim the fat off as well. And then you just want to kind of have the chicken in chunks about that big, because what we're actually going to do, and I'm going to put it into a bigger bowl, which I've got down here somewhere. Come here, big bowl. There. I got it. Oh, there we go, big bowl. What we're going to do is we're going to put all the flavors for the patties into this bowl together. So we put our chicken in, just like that. And as well as the chicken, like I said, we're going to put flavors onto this. And one of the things about breakfast is you never really normally associate breakfast with, really good flavors. And food that tastes flavorsome is also another way to keep us on track as well. So once my chicken is there, I want to continue to add more flavors. And the way that I'm going to do that is what I have here in my 2 little containers. This is my prep for the week. I always have a container of garlic, as you can see there. Freshly chopped garlic. And I always have a container of freshly chopped ginger sitting in my fridge at all times, because once I have these, I always have the opportunity to just add so much flavor to food really, really quickly. So we're going to add in, I think the recipe calls for a couple tablespoons. That's a tablespoon. I've measured it, trust me. The corner of the book. But yeah, follow the recipe in the book, page 58 in the book. So that's ginger that's gone in there, a couple tablespoons. I'm also going to do the same with my garlic. That's going to go in there as well. And as well as that, I still want to add even more flavors, because, there's nothing like giving your palate just that little taste of excitement first thing in the morning. So the other type of flavors I'm going to be using is nestled here in my little damp tea towel. So this is, by the way, the best way to keep, if you have a little look, what we got in here. Fresh herbs. Yeah, these herbs are well over a week old, and look at them. They still look amazing. I've got a bit of coriander or cilantro. I also have a bit of mint. Now, the recipe calls for basil, but here in Australia and New Zealand, this part of the world right now, it is definitely not basil season. So don't think that you have to, go exactly as the recipe when it comes to adding these type of flavors. You can swap things out. So I'm actually going to swap out the basil for mint, because mint is it's pretty easy to get hold of, and I always buy my fresh herbs in good sized bunches, usually from my veggie shop, not from the supermarket, because I do find at the supermarket they sell you not as much and it's twice as expensive. So I actually go to the veggie shop to get my herbs, and then have them wrapped in that damp tea towel, and they last forever. So we're going to add some of these wonderful herbs straight into our bowl. And I'm not even going to waste any of the cilantro or the coriander. Look, I know some of you don't like cilantro or coriander. Once again, swap it out for a herb that you do like. Maybe you can put some tarragon in here, or some chives, or some parsley. Completely leave it up to you. So I'm going to use the stalks of the coriander as well as the leaves, because the stalks have really good flavor, really good flavor. And the other great thing about the stalks is they hold up really well when you heat them. So you know how sometimes herbs, if you're using a lot of leaf, they can get a little bit wilted and brown looking, whereas our stalks hold up really well. I'm just rough chopping them. I'll show you why. I'm just gonna add it just like that, go in those leaves as well. Take some of our mint. I'm just going to rip off little sprigs of the mint is going to go in there. And like I said, if you've got basil, you can use basil. And if you're wondering whether you should be using fresh or whether you can use dry instead. Well, yes, you can use dry. You can absolutely use dry herbs, but as we all know, fresh definitely tastes best, and you get an amazing flavor from fresh herbs, way more than you do from certain dried herbs. So, but as I said, I'll leave it up to you. What we're just trying to achieve is flavor, maximum flavor within our chicken patty. So once that's in there, I'm also going to add in some salt. I'm using Himalayan salt. You could use any type of good mineral salt, a couple of good sprinkles of that. Some black pepper goes in as well. Good grinding of black pepper. All these things are adding flavor, and they're potentially not flavors you associate with breakfast or breaking your fast. But once you start to eat like this, you will struggle to go back to having toast in the morning. You know, you'll be like, oh, there's just not enough flavor in the toast. I want my chicken patty, or I want my Scotch eggs, or whatever it might be. So, you know, give it time. Be gentle with yourself, because it does, yeah, oh, stuff like that definitely takes time. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a mix through. And what I'm going to do now is, here it is, make sure I've got it on my bench, is I'm going to grind it all up. Now, you may be also wondering, why don't, I'm basically making it into a mince by doing this. Why don't I just use chicken mince instead of having whole chicken breast? Now, the reason I prefer to use whole chicken as opposed to pre-minced chicken that you buy in the supermarket is I have no idea what is in that pre-minced chicken, right? No concept whatsoever. I know exactly what's in this. This is just straight chicken breast, lovely and lean. I chose the chicken breast. I chose the quality of the chicken as well. But the other great thing is that when you mince your own chicken, it's not as fine as the mince that you sometimes find in the supermarket. Sometimes they mince it so fine it's almost like a paste. And when you make your patties or your Scotch eggs, what you might find is they dry out a bit. So I would totally suggest that you do your own mince, and it's so easy to do. You pop it up, you know, I'm not overfilling my little blender here. I've just put it probably, I got about a third of it full, and just give it a bit of a grind. And within a couple of seconds, you have made your own. So you don't have to, you know, you don't have to rely on the supermarket mince, because as I was saying, this way you get to control exactly what goes into your chicken mince. So you know it's chicken breast, you know that it's lovely and lean, you know that there's no other nasties in there, because who knows, right? Who knows? They just throw it all in the mincer and out it comes, unless they can categorically say to you it's just, you know, a certain type of chicken, which some places do. But once again, sometimes their grind is too fine and it becomes a paste, and when it's a paste it can dry out a lot, which is definitely what you don't want to happen, and because when it dries out, all the moisture comes out of it, and you want this to be, you know, really lovely and moist, otherwise it's going to be just dry and nasty. So I'm just going to add the rest of that in there. Already all I can smell is those wonderful herbs, like literally stunning smell that's even coming off this, and I haven't done anything to it. Done nothing to it apart from add a bit of garlic and ginger and some herbs, and it just smells so good. All right, yep, happy with that. That's it, right? That's just, it's done. And if you've got a few big pieces of herbs, who cares? That's all part of the fun, because when you bite into that patty, you're going to get just the most wonderful little shots of different flavors hitting you, which is perfect. So don't be too concerned. If you say, well, that's a big bit of herb there, that's fine. That is absolutely fine. So once we're at that stage, we'll get rid of that. Don't need that anymore. I can even get rid of this now, because I don't need that either. That can go into there. So once we're at this stage, it's really now just a matter of making our patties. So there is an easy way to make the patty and there is a hard way. I'm going to teach you the easy way because I don't like the hard way of anything. So I'm going to teach you guys the easy way to make your patties. I have a little bowl of water here just to wet my fingers. And what you need to do is definitely to measure off the patties as you're making them. So I've got my scales, got my little bowl here, which is just going to collect my chicken mince, and of course using really clean hands, you make sure your hands are really, really clean, we're going to weigh off the patties. And in the recipe, it calls for 70 grams, which is a really good portion size. 70 grams, about, or don't quote me on it, I think it's about 1.7 ounces, which is a really, no more than that, 2.7 ounces, which is a really good portion size for protein for breakfast. So yeah, that's about, oh, it's pretty perfect. And then just wetting my fingers just gently wetting my fingers, just a little bit, not too wet. Just damp fingers is going to help to create our patty. So the chicken's mince is obviously not sticking to me, which is really, really important. And yes, you can use turkey mince if you want to here, because it's still lovely and lean. You can, and it's got a gorgeous flavor to turkey meat. And you just want a patty just like that, nice and even. Let's pop it onto a plate. I'll make a couple more. Once again, just wet your fingers just a little bit, weigh off. You'll see if I'll get it right again. 70 grams, there's about 2.7 or a little bit more. 70 grams. And then with those little damp fingers, you're just gonna, and the easiest place to actually work is right in the middle of your palm. So you're just in there. And you can see I'm delicately patting. And at the same time that I'm delicately patting, I'm also kind of going around as well. Flipping over, just so it's nice and even, because when it's even, obviously it's going to cook really evenly once it goes into the pan. So I'll do just one more for you guys. I'll do one more just so you can see, because this tends to be the part where, oh, look at that. Yep, 75 grams. Yep, that's pretty good. Anywhere between, 68 to 75 grams is pretty good as your portion size. It doesn't have to be exact, but it's a pretty good portion size. But this molding process tends to be where, some people find it a little bit difficult. And by the way, at this point in time, if you wanted to, there is nothing stopping you from making a whole lot in advance and then freezing them down. So then you just have to defrost them and cook them when you're ready. But a lot of people actually like to obviously cook them and have them already cooked in the fridge. If you want them to last really long cooked, you can vacuum seal them. They'll last up to 2 weeks if you put them into a vacuum sealed bag, because obviously the vacuum seal takes out all the air and they last a lot longer. But even on their own, using really fresh chicken, making sure your hands are really, really clean, etc., etc., these patties could last you, in your fridge 5 to 6 days, easy peasy. Okay, so we've rolled. Imagine everything's rolled. I'm gonna put that over there. The rolling is done. Let's think about the cooking. Now there's a couple ways that you can cook your patties. It's completely up to you. I will show you both ways. I prefer to do them on my cooktop, most definitely. So I'm just going to put my pan on, putting it on to like a medium to high heat to begin with. I'm just heating up my pan. But rather than putting any oil in the pan, we are totally not going to need to do that. And this is the other really cool step of this recipe, is that we're doing this without having to load the pan full of oil. We're actually going to be using, the secret ingredient. Just so much of my cooking, anyone who's cooked any of my recipes, especially from the yellow book, you guys know exactly what this is. This is my sticky sauce. Look at that. So sticky sauce is a foundation recipe, as you know. It adds flavor, it adds the ability to be able to pan fry food without having to worry about that food, sticking or anything like that. But the most important thing about it is, yes, it adds flavor, but it also is a really healthy example of a sauce. So you make this yourself. It can last in your fridge for a month. It just lasts and lasts and lasts. And then you have the ability to be able to just create so many things, so many wonderful things with the sticky sauce. So a key to making sure your sticky sauce lasts a long time is always, put a clean spoon in it. You notice my spoon has not touched the chicken. It has not contaminated my sauce. I'm actually just using the hands to, to evenly distribute the sauce onto the chicken, rather than dirtying up my spoon and then dirtying up my sauce. So medium to high heat, remember? This, like I said, this is my favorite way to do it, because what then happens, listen for the sizzle, what then happens is that we get a lovely caramelized color on the outside outside. Hey, smoky. And it's a little bit smoky. That's all right, we'll just blow the smoke away. That's not a problem. So, while that's doing its thing, and I'll just keep on just waving the smoke away so we don't set off the smoke alarms. Here we go. Yep, wave, wave, wave. While that is doing its thing, right about medium, I'll just turn that down to, by the way, I'm going to teach you guys how to roll the Scotch eggs, because I know that people love the chicken Scotch eggs, and that is, let me have a look at the book without dirtying it. I've only got one copy at the moment, so I don't want to dirty the book. That is on. In the new book, Eat Your Way Slim and Healthy, the Scotch eggs are on page 68. And I know that some people do little bit struggle with the molding of the Scotch egg. And so I'm going to show you guys how to mold the Scotch egg really, really easy. Because the Scotch egg recipe is very similar to the chicken patty recipe. We use, obviously, the chicken mince. We add flavors like our fresh herbs and all that sort of stuff. The chicken Scotch egg also gets some freshly grated apple, which is a really nice balance. And then all we need to do is to mold our Scotch eggs. So I have some pre-boiled eggs here. I boil my eggs for 4.5 minutes because I like them to still be the yolk to be really soft. If you like your yolk to be harder, just boil your eggs longer. If you want them really hard, about 7 minutes of boiling. But follow the recipe. Obviously, all the instructions are in the recipe. But just to give you advance warning, you can tell my eggs are. I like runny yolk, and I'm sure if I just have a look at my comments, there's a few of you don't like runny yolk. Is that true? Oh, where are we? There we are. Are we? Oh, I'm having a look at comments. If anyone doesn't like runny yolk, let me know. Or just avert eyes when I cut into it, because it's going to be runny. But I like it runny. Alright, so this is how you mold your Scotch eggs. Before I start, I'm just going to have a little look. I just want to have a little peek. That's what's happening down here. Oh, lovely. Not sticking, getting some colour. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Perfect. I'm just going to turn it. I'm going to throw caution to the wind. I just turn the heat up to just above medium. So with the Scotch eggs, very similar way that we do with the chicken patty. So we weigh off first. I think it's exactly the same amount of protein, so 70 grams of protein. Yep, about that much. But instead of obviously rolling it flat, we want to go back to that wet hands, but you notice that I'm not just wetting my fingertips, I'm actually wetting right down to my palm this time. Robin was saying it has to be runny. Thank you, Robin, and thank you, Karen. Runny yolks are awesome. All right, so I wet my whole palm that time, and then we put, oh, I'll put on that side. We put it into the palm of one's hand, and this time we're actually going to flatten it out a lot more. Can you see that? The reason why you want it wet is you do not want it to stick. This is the secret. Wet your hands, and then you really want to flatten it out. Keep on flattening it. It's flattening right down to my palm, almost going halfway up my fingers. The flatter you can get it, the better. I'm just going to do this with one hand and then using the other hand. Maybe I turned it up a little bit. Ooh! Oh, you should see the colour. Can you guys see the colour on that? Right. Turning it down. I think because I'm doing this. Right. That's how flat it is. Can you see? Flat, flat, flat. Then we take our egg, take that one, we place it right into the middle, and then once again, with those fingers, and what you want to do is you want to mold it around. That's why it's important to have wet fingers. I'm not applying any pressure. I'm literally like putting it from one hand to the next, and as I'm doing, I'm creating the mold around the egg. This is all done really, really delicately. Really, really delicately. So take your time. If this is your first time doing it, please take your time. Allocate, you know, a good couple of minutes per egg, just until you get that feeling of being very gentle and just sort of delicately rocking it back and forward in your hand. And as you're delicately rocking it back and forward in your hand, what you're getting is a completely covered egg. How good is that? And then what you want to do is you once again, you want to get out your sticky sauce. I think in the recipe it says tamari, low sodium tamari, and just put a little bit of it onto your egg and then roll it around in the bowl with your sauce. Now with these guys, I don't suggest you do them in the pan like we've done here. What I actually suggest, someone's just asked me to put it up a little bit. You see, it's too, you can't can't see the food, unfortunately. We're sorting out, don't worry, we're sorting out camera angles. They're only going to improve. What you get when it comes with this is putting it into the pan here is obviously it's going to be a little bit harder to cook, whereas the pan is definitely more ideal for our chicken patties. Look at the color. Lovely, right? Oh yeah! Isn't it gorgeous? I know, right? So gorgeous. So I'm not going to cook the chicken patty in the frying pan. The best and easiest way to cook your chicken patty, and I'll show you guys, is actually in the air fryer. So if you have an air fryer, 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit for your Scotch egg, they will take between 7 to 9 minutes to cook. I'll show you a cooked one. Are you ready? All right, that's a cooked one. There we go. That's a cooked one. And I know I've got chicken, raw chicken fingers, so I won't eat this one. I'm just going to cut it for you guys as a visual, because I haven't cleaned my hands of the raw chicken. And the last thing we want to do is cross-contaminate the raw chicken with the cooked chicken. So, but this is a Scotch egg, as done in the air fryer. You can see I didn't put any oil on it. I didn't put it on baking paper. It cooks down really, really well. Let's have a look in the middle. This is the exciting part. All right. Are you ready for the run? Are you ready for the run? Maybe I'll do it on a plate. Let's go make a mix on my chopping board. All right, let me do it on that. Okay, if it doesn't get runny, I'm going to cry. Oh, my efforts of talking up the runny yolk, but it should be. It should be. Well, fingers crossed. Right, here we go. All right, cutting, cutting, cutting. Yes. If you don't like runny yolk, avert your eyes now. Avert your eyes now if you don't like runny yolk. But that is, as far as I'm concerned, the perfectly cooked Scotch egg. So done in the air fryer, of course. This is, by the way, what a chicken patty looks like done in the air fryer. It's not as colourful as the ones that are done in our frying pan here. Not as caramelized, but of course still works perfectly okay. These are going to take you about 5 to 6 minutes in the air fryer. You can even cook them at the same time as the Scotch eggs on 180, but they don't come out quite as caramelized. So now let's take a look at what we've done in the pan. Turn the pan off. They take 2 to 3 minutes on each side to cook in the pan. Look at that color. I mean, I'll just show you the difference. Air fryer in the pan, right? You gotta go in the pan. You absolutely have to go in the pan. So I'm just gonna, oh look, it is so incredibly tender as well. Cooked through perfectly, incredibly tender. I find it to be so incredibly moist when it's in the pan. But if you like the idea of doing things in the air fryer, it is lovely and quick as well. So that is chicken patty in the pan, chicken patty in the air fryer, or of course, that was how you make the Scotch eggs. And what we are talking about here, ladies and gentlemen, is about creating the healthiest start to your day. Because literally, you know, we are what we eat. And if we are filling our bodies full of, you know, refined carbs and processed food, and we're forgetting what's important is to give our body nourishment, to fuel our body, and also to feed our healthy gut bacteria. So I hope you've enjoyed these little goodies that we've got today. I've absolutely enjoyed bringing it to you. Just to let you know, because you know tomorrow the cookbook officially gets launched live, which is super exciting. The other really exciting thing is tomorrow, if you are in Australia, at 10:52 a.m. on Channel 9, I will be going live right here. I don't think I'll be in my kitchen. I actually think I'll be in my office. I'll be going live on, I can't remember the name. It's on Channel 9. It's on Channel 9 at 8 minutes to 11 a.m. I will be going live talking about the cookbook, talking about how important it is that we maintain our health, especially now during the pandemic, and how we can look after our health, and some really awesome tips on how to get started. If you're wondering where to get started, join me tomorrow on Channel 9 at 10:52, I believe, a.m. I look forward to seeing you guys all there. If you can join me, someone record it for me as well, please, if you wouldn't mind. But until then, Today Extra. That's the name of the show, Today Extra, at 5 or 10 minutes to 11 a.m. Join me then. I'll be going live from my office talking about all sorts of wonderful, delicious things. Of course, celebrating the launch of Eat Your Way Slim and Healthy. Yay! Goes live tomorrow. To all of you who have joined me tonight, I hope you've enjoyed this little cooking class. We've got another cooking class coming for you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we're doing lunch right from our cookbook, Eat Your Way Slim and Healthy. Please join me tomorrow night. I look forward to it, to seeing you then. And it's been great having you back here in my kitchen for a brand new view, which is exciting as well. So take care, guys. Take care. Be well and keep yourself safe. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.